Okay, so we're gonna do a Black Sabbath tier um ranking list or whatever, real quick. Right. Ozzy Osbourne just announced his retirement from singing because of health issues. He canceled a tour. Um, he's got a lot of weird things he's doing to try to stay in shape, and it's not panning out for him. And frankly, I don't blame him. He's wicked old, and he's been touring all the time. He deserves some sort of retirement, semi-retirement, whatever it is. But this isn't the first time he said this. But I think he means it, just because of everything, the litany of health problems that he probably has to deal with. He has Parkinson's, right? So it's February 2nd, 12:51 in the morning. But when I heard this news, I think it was February 1st, sometime in the afternoon or evening, or uh, probably not the morning, right? So early evening, let's say, late afternoon, perhaps. Anyway, we're gonna go through the Black Sabbath albums. Why? Because that's my familiarity. I'm not as familiar with every album Ozzy's done on his own, even though some of them I know, and some of them are the ones that some that I don't know are really good. I can admit that. But I just want to go through what I know as a little micro tribute. There's no tribute really good enough for Ozzy Osbourne. Not actually. But this is kind of like the first batch of tribute energy I can fling into a consumable product. A simple video. So let's go. Electric. What is this? Paranoid. Okay, I'll put it in A tier. Not a big fan of Electric Funeral, Paranoid, Iron Man. I do like War Pigs quite a bit, but those songs they just kind of like they get kind of annoying. So I would put it in S, but I put in A just because the songs saturate too quickly. I think Black Sabbath Volume 4, my favorite album, and Supernaut, right? Unbeatable, Snowblind, Unbeatable. Um, I think Changes is on this also. Yeah, just top to bottom, brilliant record. Here's the eponymous self-titled debut, the Black Sabbath. And of course, the first track is called Black Sabbath. So you're listening to Black Sabbath on Black Sabbath by Black Sabbath. Fairies Wear Boots is great. The Wizard is great. Is NIB on this? Can't really remember. I've listened to this album thoroughly. I put an S. Maybe the lowest rung on the S tier, the sub rung on the main rung, right? Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath. I put that in S tier. Probably my favorite opening song to an album in metal. Also up there for me, Sabotage. The Writ is probably my favorite closing song on an album in metal. Probably only seconded by Fools, Deep Purple on Fireball. But Fools is not real, maybe not really a metal song, so it's almost a non-contender. Technical Ecstasy, I'll give that a B. I like the production value. I like the pared down, unadorned style to it. This Never Say Die, C. Going through these quickly, Heaven and Hell, Dio, famous Dio. I'm not crazy about that song, but it has I like Dio. It's a good album for sure. Like it's it's almost like an average, but I think it's more than that. I'm just not appreciating it right now. Fortunately, this doesn't feature Ozzy Osbourne, so it's a little bit of a moot point. But I guess hey, R.I.P. Dio. Never said that on a podcast. So as a YouTuber, I kind of have to at some point, especially a metalhead. Um, I call myself one. Mob Rules. Okay. You got some really good tracks on these albums, but they're not my favorite performances from start to finish. Yeah, and like okay, here, Master Reality. I want to say this is between S and A. I've listened to it so much. It's like beginning, Sweet Leaf. Like how many times can I hear that song, right? Caravan or whatever. It's just like so much. I'll put an A. I think I'm a little over it. Although these songs are good entry level Sabbath songs, if there were any. This is the rest of these, so far as I know, these are kind of the bottom batch. Just because this was a new release right there. Wasn't that long ago the Black Sabbath had a quasi reunion. It's really sad what's happening to Ozzy right now. And it's remarkable that no one from Sabbath original lineup, Mach 1, right? No one has passed away yet. It's the only major band um, from that period and locality and genre. It hasn't applied to, right? You get Uriah Heep, tons of dead people in Uriah Heep, sadly. Ken Kensley recently R.I.P. Kerslake recently R.I.P. Um, Deep Purple, you got John Lord died. That's pretty rough. I guess, and that's an early one. I guess you could also say Tommy Bolin, but mostly John Lord is the big one. Um, Funny enough, these guys, you'd think they would all be dead, but most of them aren't. It's kind of wild. Um, Zeppelin's got one dead member for sure. In 1980, they're one of the earliest ones to die before David Byron even. Um, UFO. Is anyone dead from UFO? Yeah, Paul Raymond died. But yeah, I mean, not Michael Shankler or Phil Mogg. Um, so I guess whatever. I think the bassist might have died there, and of course the Uriah Heep bassist was the first one to die. I think forget his name. The first member to die was early on as the bassist. So all those guys have had members pass away, if not a ton, at least one. Black Sabbath, no one's died for Black Sabbath, and it's kind of crazy because Ozzy Osbourne's got a litany of health concerns. And I would put Ozzy's early records with Randy Rhoads, Jakey Lee, whatever, Vivian Campbell, all that stuff up in the above average if I had to shoehorn it into this. But I can't because it's not the same record deal. It's not the same name, not even the same music. But it's beautiful. And I'm saddened by the news I heard today. I went to Birmingham, England, and I just gotta say, it's like that place is special. And even without Ozzy, it would be special. But because he was there, and all of Sabbath was there, and half of Zeppelin, and J.R.R. Tolkien, and mystical Midlands jamming stuff, Judas Priest, great music, great metal. I almost went to Ozzy Osbourne's birthplace when I was there. It was a little far out of reach. Apparently, you can spend the night there for like $200 or something. I never looked into it beyond like an article I read while I was hanging out in Birmingham. They call it Brum, by the way, which was funny to learn. But one day, now I kind of regret not doing it because I didn't, you don't want to take people for granted. And I admit that Ozzy Osbourne is a very easy person to take for granted in a way because he's sort of immortal. But at the same time, he's very good at grabbing your attention and flirting with this idea that he might pass over soon. So it's easy person to take for granted and also an ever present in our hearts and minds as metalheads, as devotees of the dark arts. Right? Anyway, I have a Palantir to sort through right now, so I can't do any more of this. But it's been about 10 minutes. I think my favorite album, Volume 4, then followed by Sabbath Bloody Sabbath, then followed by um what's that one? Oh yeah, Black Sabbath, the eponymous debut album. And then I guess Sabotage is my fourth favorite. Kind of anything like that too. And it's not my favorite album cover. And my second favorite album cover is Sacrifice. Because I like a goofy art that is neither here nor there. It's kind of sanitation. Maybe I should read some background before you sleep. There's a Alan Parsons album dedicated to it, but I'd rather just read the real thing. It's in English. So shout out to OZZY, and if anything goes south from here on out, RIP. Well wishing for him, but it doesn't happen anytime soon. Best of luck, Patrick Richardson, yours truly. I don't want to end this by anyone with Bits of Darkness for everything he's done for OZZY and for the world and for the community of metal. That will hopefully be on much extended beyond the world in the order. Cheers.